Hello, I trust you're all keeping well. I have been given the honour of being able to talk to you this morning, and I trust you'll find it empowering and interesting, and really hope it really lifts your day. This time of year, we start thinking about Christmas. If I'm allowed to say it, it's too late now, I've said it. We start thinking about Christmas, and for me, one of the most exciting parts of Christmas is putting up the Christmas tree. Now, we're holding off for a few more weeks. I know quite a few of you have put them up already, and that's fine. But we are holding off for a bit. Now, are you an artificial kind of tree person, or are you a real tree person? That's the big question. Everyone always asks you when you say you're picking up your tree, is it real, or are you getting an artificial one? You know, with the real tree, you get the smell, the beautiful smell of the real tree, or the artificial one is a lot less mess. We're going for a real tree, which I'm very, very happy about. And this got me thinking, trees are all so different. Every single species of tree is unique and different, and they're all beautiful in their own right. And did you know that in the Bible, trees are the most mentioned living organism other than humans and God? A little fact for you there. Now back to my favourite tree. My favourite one would have to be the cherry blossom. Even though the leaves and the petals aren't out for very long, when it's in full bloom, it is one of the most beautiful things in a country garden that you could possibly get, in my opinion. And I thought, I wonder what everybody else's favourite tree is. And I thought maybe we could have a little discussion now, whether we're on our own or whether we're in groups or whatever. We could discuss what our favourite tree is. And then another point to discuss could be, what's the uses of trees? They're all different and unique, but what's their uses? And then the final point I want you to discuss is what could a tree symbolise? You know, you get a picture of a tree, and what sort of things could that symbolise? So if you want to pause me for a second, you've got to discuss your favourite tree, the uses of trees, and what could trees symbolise. I'll come back to you in a second. Now I wonder what you came up with there, and some of the ideas I had is that trees are a great place for shelter when you're in the middle of nowhere and the heavens have opened and you're getting soaking wet. There's always a good tree to hide underneath. They're great for fun and playing. You can always find a child swinging from a branch, or climbing the trees was always one of the best things to do. I'm sure you came up with lots of other ideas. And what do trees symbolise? I believe a tree is a symbol of strength. They're quite grounded and quite deep-rooted, giving them that symbol of strength. And it's also, trees quite often are a symbol for family. You know, you get your family trees, you know, with the different branches and how the family always drawn back to the roots. And for the use of the talk today, I believe that trees can symbolise great patience. You think how long it takes for a tree to grow from being planted to some of the biggest trees you've seen. It takes years and years of growing. The other day I took the children to a local garden estate, and I made a point of, God, look how tall all of these trees are. To which my eldest daughter said, they're just trees, they all look the same, like she would say. And this comment has stayed with me for quite some time. And I wanted to share it back when we were able to meet, and it never seemed the right time. So I'm going to seize this opportunity to say the thoughts I've had about this little story. And it got me thinking about how quite often others can look at us and think, oh, it's just another person, it's just another mum, it's just another church. There's loads of them. There's just another business. It's just another. There's so many things that people just look at us and oh, you're just another. And that's the same with our dreams. You know, you're just another person with a dream. And I was thinking of these trees that were so similar to each other and so tall. And somebody somewhere at some time planted these trees. And it got me thinking, with our dreams and stuff, God saw the planting of those dreams. God was there when the first idea to start a church, to start our own business, to start a family, God was there. And he saw the planting. And he's been there the whole growth. He's seen the first leave, the first person coming who said, yes, I'm going to attend your church, or the first person that bought from your business, the first person that inspired you in your dream, or said, yes, you've got that talent, you go for it. God's been there, but he's also been there for the first winter, when you're facing the harshest conditions, when things haven't been worse before. He's been there during the drought, when everything's dry and hard to do anything. And he's been there in the flood as well, when things have gotten too much for our business, our church, our dreams. And God's been for it with us the whole time. And he remembers, he looks at where you are now, and he remembers where you came from. He remembers the times when you had great growth spurts and things were wonderful and going so well, and you were thriving, and your dream was really taking off, and you had that certainty that what you were doing was what God wanted. But he's also been there in times where you felt, am I doing the right thing? Is it time to pull back and say, I can't do it anymore? He's been there the whole time, from when you were planted, from when a tree was planted. And God said to that tree, reach for the skies. And he says the same to you with your dreams. We quite like our memory verses in our church services at home. I don't know whether you do as well, but this week I really encourage you to learn Proverbs 16 verse 3, which says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. It's a great one for whenever you're facing tough times and when things seem to be going against you. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. That's Proverbs 16 verse 3. Quite often, well, no, always, not quite often, our dreams begin small. It's a small idea in the back of your mind, and it's probably quite often you've just been thinking it and mulling it over in your head for some time, and you get to that point where you just mention it to somebody. And the funny thing about our dreams and our goals is that so often they're portrayed as being unrealistic. That when they're first born, it's unrealistic. It's never going to happen, and they're usually unusual and can be quite often out of character. I'm reminded from the film Tangled, great film, Tangled, the Disney one. And you've got all those guys in that really grotty pub, and they're all rough, and they've got missing teeth, missing limbs, and they're all as tall as they are round, and they're all pretty scary guys. And Rapunzel starts singing to them about how she has a dream about going to see the lanterns. She wants to see the floating lights gleam, I think is what she says. And suddenly all these terrifying guys open up with all their dreams, and you've got one wants to be a florist, one what's it, interior design, you've got the biggest, scariest guy there holding his 2 little ceramic unicorns, and dink, I'm sure you've all seen the moment, and you probably can think of all the others. I've gone blank being here. But you've got all these guys who you sort of think, wow, I know it's only a story, but it's so true in everyday life. You hear people's dreams or ideas that they've had, and you think, wow, I really didn't expect that from you, but yeah, go for it. And I guess it's a sign of our character and pushing ourselves to go beyond our box. And I love how it's quite often referred to that dreams don't fit in a box, and how you have to take the lid off that box and break down the walls and go for your dreams. There's lots of examples of people having big dreams in the Bible. I'm sure you can list several. The one I'm drawn to today is Zechariah and Elizabeth, and how they haven't had children. And suddenly an angel comes to Zechariah in his old age. It's probably the last thing he's thinking about right now. He's in the temple doing his daily job. They're very, very old and past the normal age for childbearing. And an angel appears to him. And the verse I'm struck to, so it's in Luke 1, it's verse 13, where the angel says to Zechariah, God has heard your prayer. I mean, this implies that Zechariah and Elizabeth have been praying for a child for such a long time, and who knows, they might have even given up on this prayer. they probably reached a certain point and thought, it's not going to happen. It's not intended for us. God didn't mean this for us. And they've probably given up. I'm just astounded by the patience and how they hadn't given up on God, and God hadn't given up on them, and their dream remained. And I just thought, incredible patience, sort of like a tree. You plant a tree and it doesn't grow for a very long time. You plant a tree and 10 years later it's grown that much. It takes such patience, and I'm in awe, because for me, I'm not a very, very patient person. It's something that I really need to work on. And, quite often when I pray things and it's sort of been a few days, I'm like, oh God, why haven't you answered my prayer? I prayed every day this week. And just reading that, God has heard your prayer. And even though it's taken 60, 70 years, God has heard it, and your dream is coming true. And sometimes we can hide our dreams, whether it's because we're worried about failing. Maybe we don't share our dream to other people because we don't want them to judge us and think, okay. And also, it can be because we don't want to appear too bold. I can remember when I told a lady that I wanted to train as a teacher, and her comment was, oh gosh, good luck getting a job. Was what she said. Not, wow. It was good luck getting a job. And I can still remember that moment to this day, and it hurt. Even though she didn't mean anything by it, I'm sure she probably doesn't even remember. So we quite often keep our dreams to ourselves. And I wanted to read from the Bible, Matthew 6, verse 33. And it says, seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. And this is something that's helped me whenever I do feel like my dreams are too much, or I'm asking too much of God. And it's just God saying to me that give it to me, live righteously, give it to me, and I will give you everything you need to succeed. And I hope you've all been inspired by this, to hold on to those dreams, to keep fighting for your dreams, and to not feel that you're asking too much of God, because he can give it all. I said that we've been learning memory verses, and there's one that I'm gonna finish on, and it's just such an inspiring one for people when you've got your dreams and you feel that it's not going to happen, and it's not that you're not good enough. This is a good promise from God. And it's from Philippians 1 verse 6, and it says, I am confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will perfect it until the day of Christ Jesus. Well, I hope you've been blessed by this talk, and that you're able to go forth and grow like a tree with your dreams, and that God blesses you all. Look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.